Hello, this is just a random one. It's not about testing, but I'm going to talk about the base I built and why I chose this specific location to begin my journey on having a full PvP server with thespians and an admin base that is also under PvP. Because there are a few things that you need to know about uh, building a PvP base, building a PvP base on a PvP server. It's not about how it looks. Yeah, you see my decoration is all really basic, quick things to spawn in, but enough to make it look like a castle. So, all right, let's go inside. So you have to know the idea, the concept behind my server, and that is that I have a ranking system set up. That's the first thing I'm working on in this base. And I want to motivate people to build without having to farm hours and hours on end. And as they climb up the rank, they get access to higher tier building pieces, and they also get perks. For instance, everybody begins as a lone wolf, but once you hit like rank 5 or 6, you can become paladin. And if you reach the status or the rank of paladin, you are allowed to, let's just say something, you are allowed to fly on the server. Because I've set these standards for achieving this rank so high that this player will be several months on the server before he reaches that rank. And I also underlined that if I don't trust him after all these months on the server, he's not gonna get flight. It's that simple. But the goal is to make this a challenge for players to climb up the ranks and having these freedoms, and at the same time also take the responsibilities for it, because it's a lot more fun when you can fly around on the map. But if you go raid somebody's base, it's not so fun for the player who is being raided if he can't fly and you can. And to balance that all out, I will make another video about how I explain all this. But it's just to give you an idea of what is going on my server and what is going to be the red lining, the red wire in this. So the first rank you achieve is just lone wolf. Everybody gets it when they log into the server, and then you talk to Gooban, the supplier. It gives you some basic supplies, and then once you reach level 120, excuse me, then you can talk to Gowani, the gatekeeper. She will give you a key, let you in. And then we come here to this, yeah, kind of main hall, I would call it. I don't know, doesn't matter. And I've built in these storm doors, I call it. There's no thespian here or anything, but if there's ever any problems or whatever, I can just shut the doors and focus on the side that they are attacking, or because you never know how how this will play out. If a clan of 4 or 5 people comes on the server and I can slow them down coming in from this side, knowing that they are attacking from another side and they are closer to getting in there, I just shut these doors and they have to get through 2 million HP before they can get in this room here. You will also see that on the map. This is the biggest. I think this is the best cave possible to defend because the entrances are really small, and they are long and narrow, so you can stack a big amount of foundations in there, and that's why I have this big wall on the outside. They can't just place a trebuchet and start shooting to get in immediately. They first have to walk up to the door, and then they are in this small corridor, let's say, where I will put some trolls, heavily armed trolls, and if they do any damage or they punch each other or whatever, these trolls will attack them and they will have a serious problem trying to get out of there. That's why I also have the timer set on the doors, not with keys, the first layer, but with, let's quickly go back there, because this is really about how to set it up, basically. These trolls will also trigger the doors, yeah, so that if these guys are being chased, they can lure these trolls out and then run in. But the trolls will follow and they will step on the triggers and they won't be able to, they have to kill them. It's all about time, yeah? That's the only thing that you can do to slow down somebody and to take action to lower the amount of damage that they do to your base, especially when you're not online. So that's just passive defense, basically. It's not finished yet here, but then we ended up at this storm doors. They will always be open because remember, this is for players to walk in and to do quests. So it's usually 95% of all the people that come on your server will never even think about putting explosives in here, but it's the 5% that fuck it up for the rest. So maybe I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but whatever. I said it. This is so I've divided all the ranks. They all get a separate room where they have a thespian set up. And if you go into the Mushy editor, you can see all the ranks that I have. Mercenary, Knight, Paladin, Lord, Lady, King, Queen. And you can see I have set these ranks. So this is a condition node, and it says true. He has this rank, King, Queen. If it's true, he gets a key to go inside. If he doesn't have it, if he's a Paladin, his rank is too low to get into this room, and the thespian says only King, Queen. So he has to find another thespian that will allow him access to this room, and there he only gets the building pieces for that specific rank. There are also some extra perks, but I'm not going into that. This is the highest rank, but I don't see anybody getting there soon, since my server is only up for 3 or 4 days now, so. This is, so they reach level 120, and then to move up in the ranks, they have to talk to Tunfar, the voodoo master, and he will spawn in Nekada. Give them a key, they open the door, they go in here, and then they have to fight 2 Vangul Machoons, or they can just try to escape and go into this portal. But these Vangul Machoons, they will follow, so the first time they try to run away from them, they will be very surprised, because if these Machoons walk into this portal, zip, they get teleported up here. And here is Nikara, it's the big Vangul boss from the Stormhold camp, or from the volcano. I think they are both the same. I'm not so sure about it, but and this is a dungeon room I've built, because you have to take in consideration that if you are building in a PvP server and you want to organize an arena, you have to make sure that as little as possible your building pieces are attacked by these monsters that you spawn in. Because I've been playing around with this Nekada in here. I will spawn him in so you can see him. Fast. So this is the guy, Nekada. You see, if he does that, the building piece has 1 million HP. No, this is the wallpaper. Yeah, that's why I came here. I put this this big ass wallpaper in here. You see, you can set it up to X and Y, 2631. You can push it up as far as you want, I think, but it gets really big. And then also you can set it here as a solid wallpaper so players can't walk through it. They will actually walk on top of it. And you have to push it flat with Alt, but I will show that later. So you put this wallpaper down and you make it as big as possible, because this Nekada, he can damage the floor, but he can't damage the wallpaper. If you see, I have no interaction with well, they are showing these hammers, but I can't see the HP. If I go here, bang, I can see 1 million HP. You can see he's damaging, yeah? Let's see how much he took off there. So it's basically, I tested it and it's around 200 to 400 HP that this big dummy takes away from the building pieces. But if you put a wallpaper on top of it, the building pieces don't get damaged. And then I built this gigantic glass dome on top of it with the Gcam mod. I have to mention this because this mod is amazing. These are infinite stability supports, so they can basically go all the way across. But I wanted to make it look like this dome has been here for a while. And I'll show you later how I built it and why I built it like that. And then also something I learned by accident: if you don't want people to, let's say we have a high king or a high queen in our server, and she wants to fight Nekada for extra attribute points, then I've set up this double door. But I discovered it by accident. If I forget one of the two doors to close, they will not be able to get in, you see? Nekada, get the hell out of here. Guys, also a good tip: always set the HP of your spawning creatures to 10. Because if you fuck up or something goes wrong, you might have a big problem trying to get to the spawners. So let's say I'm in a rush and I repaired all these building pieces here, and somebody calls me on the server and they say, yeah, I need help. You fly here and you forget this first door, up and you're gone. And the next guy coming in here is like, oh, this door is open. No, it's not. And he can't interact with it, so he will not be able to push this up or down. Just something you might want to do. Always make sure, especially if you have a teleport to set up like this to a room with no exit or entrance other than the portal, make sure you can at least get out instead of always having to warp somewhere to get back to what you were doing. Yeah, and all these rooms are for the different ranks. They all have double doors. In the previous video, I explained how you can build up this high HP with the recesses, but for inside it's 2 million HP, just two normal walls, and then this to make it look nice, this beautiful door frame to make it look solid, so it's not a flat wall all the way up. Why am I not going into first mode? Here you can get an idea of what is possible with this mod, because in the beginning I was like, oh man, this is boring stuff. It's all just walls. But if you dig deeper into it, you really see the versatility about it. And then these are scones. I'm guessing that the first guy who comes in here is probably going to be like, oh, a torch. Why isn't it? Oh, my inventory is full. Yeah, whatever. You get it right. And then I will show you something else. Oh, I also found a way to not needing, excuse me, to not needing any walls at all to defend your base. It's like I just said with the wallpaper. Yeah, I can just explain it in this movie. I don't have to make a separate one about it. Yeah, I'm gonna make a separate one because it's yeah, I will show you in a separate video. Then we come up here, and this is the room for Lord and ladies. Whoops, desync. There's nothing in here yet, yeah. But this is the concept, yeah. They become rank Lord Lady, and instead of having to farm 3-4 hours a day to get 1,000 foundations or 1,000 walls to repair the base, they come in here, they talk to this guy, and he gives them the material, he gives them the foundations and everything for free. And then people will not be bored on my server, and people who don't have a lot of time, they eventually will reach the rank where they can basically do 1 day build. And let's say the weekend starts Friday evening, they do a raid first, or they ask to get raided because some people like to defend their base. And then once their base is destroyed, or they have destroyed another base, it's Saturday. They wake up at Saturday, 12 o'clock at noon. They come to this guy here, they talk to him, they immediately start building 3 or 4 hours, and by the time it's 4 in the afternoon, they can ask in my war channel on the Discord, hey, I want to get raided tonight. Huh? So then other people like lower ranks like mercenaries, peasants, knights, they can attack these lord and queens with 3 or 4 people together, and this lord will be able to defend himself alone because he already has boosted stats and a higher tier building piece available, so he will be able to withstand higher amounts of explosives and other stuff that they throw at him. If we then go back outside, also, if you set up a PvP server and you have loyal players, from the 20 people that join, maybe one stays longer than 3 months, yeah? So, in order to give them respect and honor their loyalty, you give them the best rooms in your dungeon, in your castle. Like if we go up here, this is High King, High Queen. It's the last rank before becoming a demigod. This guy just flies through the front door and Happy's in his room. Yeah, let me show you where I put the productive slaves, I call them. So they have to come here, take the elevator up because they can't fly. Then they have to walk past this here. If they've never been here, they're gonna get lost here because they have no idea. This is the night room, and this is the Paladin room. And then they have to probably ask, where do I have to go? And then they have to climb up here. This is the Mercenary Room and the Peasant Room. And if they are a productive slave, that's the first rank you get after reaching level 120. They end up here at the productive slave guy. And they don't get a fancy room, of course. They get a compost heap, a weirdo in underwear, and a dead body, a guy who probably died from drinking from this fountain. But then if you level up in rank and you become a peasant and a merchant, yeah, they basically have the same perks, so I just put them together in one room. Didn't want to add another room on top of what I already have built. They get this a little bit nicer looking. It's still not finished. I have to put some dirt on the floor. And then you become a knight. You already see the doors have some iron in it instead of being this garbage wooden doors. It's not finished yet here either. It's just a basic setup. And this guy, he wasn't dead when they put him in the coffin, but he was lucky enough to get out. But yeah, he didn't make it. And then we have the Paladin Room. I think this one is finished. Yeah, just a clean setup with a little dragon shitting in the corner. And they have a war table. But there's basically nothing else to do here than to walk in, talk to a thespian, get building materials, and get the hell out of here again, start building. And that is, I'll just show you one more thing. This is the dome I built, and you see it's, when I logged in this morning, there were only 20 or 30 pieces missing, and you already see it's getting worse and worse. For some reason it's not holding up. It's because I was sloppy when putting the infinite support beams under the ceilings. You can see them there. There is one where my dot is. I didn't line them up properly, so they start falling out and collapsing. But if you do it correctly, it will hold a giant glass dome on top of an arena or something. And then I put some dragon skulls in there. So first you build up to 2 pillars high, and then you try to maneuver this dragon skull in, and then you can continue. And then I put some glorps in their mouth and on the back of the head to give it this blue look. If you have access to the admin panel or you have contact with an admin who is willing to help you, you can ask for it. It's called a glorp. Let's see if I have one. Glorp. You can even say it's 8997 admin. He probably knows that it's available, but so yeah. And I just want to let it decay, let it collapse. I worked 4 hours on it, took some pictures. Now it's done. If it collapses to the point that they can just fly in here without even having to look for an entrance, then I will take all these support beams, I will just cut them off at the seams. There, I will just go all the way around and this whole thing will collapse. And I will build something else on top of it. I see so many people and I understand them because they don't have access to the admin panel and they have to work really hard to get all the foundations. They don't want to let go of their builds and they are mentally devastated. I don't know if it's meant, yeah, probably. When their base is raided. And to prevent this, I have thought of a system. I've come up with a system where if they reach a certain rank, they get these Amunets building pieces. And as you can see here, a wall has 1 million HP. If you compare that to, let's see if we have something here. Oh yeah, we have some Chronix Citadel here. That's tier 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know, whatever. And the Chronix Citadel Foundation has 150,000 HP. So it's in comparison to, we have a, yeah, all these building pieces have 1 million HP, even the decoration, I think. Yeah, 1 million HP for a DM foundation. So if you stack some walls together and you push down the gather rate on your server, then you can basically control the amounts of explosives and plague barrels they can make. It's really hard for them to, even with a clan of 4 or 5 people, getting 10 or 15 plague barrels is quite a challenge. If you know where to go and you are well organized, yeah, they can get it in a couple of hours, but why would they waste it on a wall? They don't get anything from going in here and blowing it up. This is basically, yeah, if let's say they are low rank and they think the rank system is unfair and they want to get to the High Queen, but the moment I log on and I see that they made a hole in the wall, I kick them off the server. So they didn't gain anything. They didn't go up in rank. They didn't get the building pieces they wanted, and I rebuilt it in 5 minutes. So I think it's a good concept, and it definitely can work. And I'm also talking to the mod developer of the Amunets building pieces to push up the HP to 4 million. And then it's impossible for them. Nobody is going to spend 200 plague barrels to get to a Thespian who gives you every 12 hours 500 building pieces of Chronix Citadel. They might as well just go and farm it. So, and then also for the players itself, I have set up a system, and I call it a safe zone, basically. So I will give them a fixed amount of building pieces, and they will be able to build a small safe zone to protect their production area. Set it up quickly. Yeah, forget about that wall. So this is basically it. I still have to fine-tune the measurements on it. But everybody would get a fixed amount of building pieces, and in my Discord channel, Skull and Bones, and the server is also called Skull and Bones. It's an EU, European Union based server. And I suggest if you have more than 150 ping when you log into the server, don't do it, man. you're gonna spend months of time here before this server is up and running, and there will be a lot of people, and PvP will be horrible for you, because when you have 150 ping, it's just too much for PvP. You're lagging behind all the time. You're gonna get killed. So the one second you're fighting, and then the next second you're all of a sudden dead on the ground, and your HP bar didn't even go down. I have a lot of experience in PvP, so and I tried it pretty much all. I think I'm not a specialist, but I know my way around PvP servers. So yeah, this is basically it. Your most important loot and crafting stations are in here. When the players of a certain rank go to looking for a fight channel in the Discord, and there are enough people there asking for a raid on the one hand and asking to get raided, to raid on the other hand, then we go with the admin, me, to the war channel, and there we discuss with the clan leaders what the terms of the battle or the raid is gonna be. I have set up some basic rules, but if these guys want to decide that they, let's say, so the rule is like this: you have your box, your save box. There you build your base around, and you can only go 2 vanilla pieces thick to defend your. Sorry, to defend your base. So this is it, 2 thick, and there you can put 3 doors on. It's to prevent from people stacking 50 doors, because when you have unlimited building supplies like I have on my server here, to prevent to make people have fun instead of farming for 3 or 4 weeks to build up a base, I have to limit the amount of strength. It will come down to skill, yeah, preventing people from coming in instead of just spamming foundations all over the place. So that's the first. This is the last line of defense. This is the second line of defense, and then the first line of defense is a wall. So they can build. They basically build this. They build their tower or whatever they want to make it look like, and then they can do 1 wall around that castle. And it's also mentioned in the Discord channel. I don't want, this is the only box that is available and that can look like a box. Everything else they build has to look like a castle. If I see people starting to build these giant PvP boxes you see on vanilla servers, I just summon in a comet and just blow the smithereens. Blow it to smithereens. I want to see beautiful castles, and I want to see people having fun attacking each other, not standing at a row of doors for 25 minutes, pumping explosives into it, while the guy is on the other side of the door, ready with 10 or 15 doors in his inventory, and as soon as 1 door breaks and he hears that the guy is walking away, he opens the last door, spams in 4 doors, and closes the other door again. I mean, what's the point of this, yeah? So it's basically to balance it out and to make sure that the raiders have a chance, and the ones who get raided also have a chance to block the attack. And then, yeah, the main goal is basically to prevent people from having to farm for hours and hours. The gather rate is low on my server, but it's not a problem. You're here for the PvP. You level up, killing Nekada in the basement, and then you get better and more building pieces every time you level up. And then when I talk about my last level, that's the demigods. And the demigod basically becomes a dungeon master. He builds castles all around on the map, random. He puts spawners in there with creatures, and once these and nobody has to ask for permission, nobody has to say anything. If you are a peasant or you are a lord, you can just go in there, get the loot, destroy the whole building, and move on. And that's what the demigod does. And that's it. That's a basic explanation, and yeah, I think if I explain it like this, you get it, right? It's not so difficult to understand it. And your rankings are based on your statistics. Every 12 hours, every 11 hours, you can go and fight Nekada. And I will quickly show you where is my server. So if we drag this in here, this is my ranking system. So you start off as a lone wolf, make some friends, maybe enemies, mess around with potions. It's really important to keep this in mind. Once you reach level 120 and all your vanilla points are spent, you have to choose a job. And the different jobs are like an overall build. If you are a single player, you choose overall build. It's not really hard unless you know a clan or you know some people who are coming into the server later. But the overall build is a basic build to give you enough strength, enough agility, vitality, and yeah. And then we have the archer builds. Yeah, you have to, if I want to go in detail about this, this video is going to take forever, so I'm just going to cut it down to showing you the picture, and you can look it up. In encumbrance has a third skill. He's an archer. Why? Oh, there's maybe a wrong picture here. Oh yeah, this is from survival. Okay, I was already like, what the fuck did I do here? No, okay, it's correct. You just have to check it. I don't know out of my head. And then this one is also an interesting movie. This is from FX, and he explains what are your statistics, what do they mean, and how are they affected once you are higher up in the levels. Really interesting to watch this. If you want to see this, it's on my Discord channel, Skull and Bones. You can see it here, so you can just search it. Let me see. I don't even know where to find my own servers. No. This is my IP and port. So the IP of the server is this. I didn't put the port in there because I don't think it's needed. Somebody was trying to log in and they got in without putting the port in. It's in fact. No, that's for fatal errors. Yeah, I'm a noob. Whatever. Where were we? Rank builds, yeah. And then you have tank builds. Show you the pictures. So some agility, everything in vitality, and also for survival here. This skill. A tank is basically you go in there with a shield, you get your ass kicked, while the archers and the berserkers, I call them berserkers, the ones with all their points in strength, kill the beast, and you focus on trying to keep the aggro on you, so your teammates don't get hit. Because if you can see here, this is, what was this? This is the Berserker build. So you see how much vitality he has. But if you compare it to a Berserker build, he has pumped up to accuracy because here, crevice in the armor increases the armor penetration of any weapon you wield by 30%. So if you want to do the max amount of damage possible, you want to be like a Berserker, and you have a clan with 3 or 4 people. 4 people is the max in my server because I want to keep it balanced again. And you have a good tank player, then you can get away with this, yeah. You can just push up, and you don't need vitality because you can trust this guy going in there and doing his job, keeping the aggression of this bear that you are going to kill on him. And you can just slaughter this thing in a matter of minutes. Also, when you do the training, when you kill Nekara, you get 1 point in every attribute. So 1 point in every attribute. I will show you later what that means. This doesn't look right. Oh yeah, sorry, here, hunter-gatherer. This is, I've been on PvP servers and PvE servers, and some people, they spend literally 3 months in their base. They never go to the volcano, they never go anywhere. There was these people I know, and there were a couple. The man was always out killing dragons and doing all kinds of stuff, and the woman was always in her base, decorating, building a bar, building a bathhouse. They had this really cool system going on where he was always pumping statistics to kill everything faster and to gather more. And I searched around, I looked at it a little bit, and here you can see that this build is to gather. So you have uh, an overall build, and then if you have somebody in your clan that is not interested in going out at all, this is a way to get them out once in a while, because now they can just go. They have this increased harvesting, increased butchering. They have their encumbrance maxed out, so they can keep moving. They have some grit to keep moving, so and they can still defend themselves if necessary. So back to the ranking system. So from level 0 to level 120, you basically level up. None of the content is available to you, because if I get a new player in my server, I don't want to be typing all the time when I am participating in a raid or whatever I'm doing. Then you get a productive slave. So you max out to level 120, and then you have to kill Nekara 50 times. So it will almost take a month to go from productive slave to peasant if you kill him every day, twice. And that's possible. You get up at 6 in the morning right before you go to work. No, I'm just kidding, man. Just take your time when you come to the server. It doesn't matter that much. You just have to see. This is just a red wire to give you an idea. But there are some perks that come with being reaching productive slave. You get your Amunets building pieces to make a production area safe. Then you become a peasant. You kill Nekara another 50 times. And now you can go to war rules and looking for a fight. maybe some lord or lady is willing to hire you as cannon fodder to raid a base. And then we go up to Mercenary. Now you are getting a title that is worth mentioning. You kill another 100 times this time to get to the next rank, but you have to kill them. Sorry. Another 100 times to get the next rank. This is basically to set up your contacts and stuff like this, to make sure you are hired by kings and queens, and they have to pay you. If you want to work for free, or it's up to you, but to be honest, I would ask something for it. You will see later that these lord and queens have been on the server for a long time, and they have some serious wealth behind them. Not necessarily gold, like Pvp gold, but they will have a huge amount of resources. And then we end up becoming knights. Now you can list yourself in the Discord channel looking for a fight. Also, again, I want to keep these lower levels as much as possible out of the PvP, because they only need to focus on one thing: getting into the server every day, doing their fights, and building a base, so that once they reach knighthood, they have a big strong base that can be raided 3 or 4 times without getting repaired. And then once this base is completely shot to pieces, I just give them a new set of Amunets building pieces, and they can go and build somewhere else. And I just clean the whole thing up in a few minutes. They don't have to repair it, nothing. No wasting time, okay? Just go in there, build your stuff, and move on. Yeah, build your stuff, let it get destroyed, and you also get rewards for being the one who is defending, because I think, to be honest, that I will have more people wanting to attack someone else than people who are willing to defend their base, but we'll see how it goes. Paladin. Now your clan can have max 3 members, and again, also this is written here. If you come to my server with 4 people as lone wolves and you all know each other, yeah, you're in a clan of 4. I'm not gonna bitch and whine about it. It's just what it is. Then Lord Lady, earning money is trying to earn money is fading, because they probably have a lot of money by that time. They are, if they've done it twice a day, they are 200 days in the server. So, and that's aside from leveling up to level 120. So it will take a while before I have my first lord. But if people understand, they will definitely have respect for a guy who has this rank. And that's the goal of it. Yeah, there's some role playing involved in this game too. So I kept it in mind that the ranks are not just numbers that come in front of your name in the chat. No. If you are a paladin and a lone wolf comes in the server and he starts, I don't know, I don't care. We'll see how it goes. And then we become lords, then we become king, queen. This is where you get flight. I'm also saying it again. This is subject to change. If I notice that a lot of people complain about this, that they want it sooner, then I can bring it a rank down. But I don't want to, you come to the server, it's Lone Wolf, I've been here for 2 days. Here, man, go and fly around on the map. No, because then I have to constantly fix problems, because in the server rules you will see that what you can build, your wall can be 2 foundations thick and it can only be 4 foundations high, unless you are building somewhere where they can just climb up a rock and jump down into your base and kill your trolls. Then you can build higher up, of course. But I don't want to see these Chinese structures. Yeah, I say Chinese, but it's just because I was on a PvP server once and they built around their main base a wall that was 20 foundations high, just to prevent people from having enough stamina just to climb up on the wall to have a look inside. If you log out and you log back in, you can see the whole base and you can see everything inside while it's loading in. So I don't know what these guys were thinking, but hey, they did it. And to prevent this, because it's game breaking for me, it has to look a little bit like a reality. And that's something I really like to bring in this server. The vanilla PvP servers are really these giant bunkers, these war bunkers. It's not a World War II game. It's medieval looking, mythical beasts looking. And I don't know if you've seen Lord of the Rings. I didn't see any square buildings with 30 doors in it there, so I don't want to see it here either on my server. And then we have King Queen. King Queen was flight, yeah. Then we have High King, High Queen. And now this is where you start to become in the gray zone. You are torn between two worlds, still feeling like king/queen. You often wake up at night thinking someone is in the room. This weird presence of energy and power are clouding your judgment. This is where you basically can hover between being raided, go out and raid, and if I trust you enough, I will already give you spawners. So you don't have to knock out trolls all the time to get to 25 trolls and to 25 pets to defend your base passively. This I also have to explain. So you build a base, you build a wall around it, and then you can set up a passive defense. Just in case somebody is trying to break into your base without asking for it for permission. That's only for the lower ranks, yeah, because the High King, High Queen, they can be raided all the time. You cannot break into their safe zone. That you can also see. Where is it? Here. Your amount of building pieces Amunets is doubled when you become king/queen. This means that your production area, where you craft all your weapons for your trolls, all the potions, everything, this box will be doubled. So you do one last raid before you go from lord/lady to king/queen, and then you get a new set of Amunets building pieces, and they will be twice as much as what you had when you gotten them at peasants. No, sorry, not peasant, productive slave. And this will make sure that you are able to recover quickly when a bunch of guys is constantly attacking you. And also these High King, High Queens, they don't care about money anymore, yeah? They just talk to me. I will set up thespians in their base, in these rooms that I have set up for them, and they just fill up boxes and they just give it away for free. And these lone wolves, productive slaves, these peasants and these mercenaries, yeah, they will go ham on this. They want to get all this stuff, of course. But a High King, High Queen has been there, done that. He's not interested in he's maybe still interested in blowing up walls and doors and stuff like this, but he's not interested in loot anymore. His whole storage room is already full of boxes full of stuff. He's basically just cranking out trolls and pets and everything that he can get his hands on to defend himself from these lower ranks trying to get into his base. And then the final rank is called the demigods. And the demigod is 800 fights, so you will not become a demigod overnight. And your statistics, your attribute points will be capped. It's to keep a balance in the game. So the demigod is basically there to assist the admin. He can fly. He already has high enough stats that he can basically kill the red dragon in the unnamed city in less than a minute. So, and you also don't need to farm anymore. But I mean, like, nothing. Okay, if you become demigod on my server and you type in chat, you're probably not going to type in chat because you can only become a demigod if you are an active member on Discord. But if you, I am setting up this whole system to be it completely automatic. People come in the server and they start crying in the chat. How do I do this? How do I do that? I just say Discord channel line number 3, Discord channel line number 6, and this whole thing will just flow. Of course, there will still be a lot of questions that I can't write down because then I end up with a big book here and nobody will ever read it. How much minutes are we? Doesn't matter. Just push through to the end. So also a demigod. You become a demigod. You like to fight. Okay, then you just go to the war channel and looking for a fight channel, and you wait until there are 2 or 3 people there who want to do a raid or want to get raided, and then you can just say, okay, let's do this. Or you can be that missing person, yeah, when they have 3 wheels but they need a 4th wheel to get rolling. If you are a demigod, then I will trust you in being where did I read it here? Here. Meaning you will be defending with NPCs and then help solve unbalanced, that's a writing mistake, unbalanced raids. For example, some people didn't show up. Then you choose the weakest side and help. You're not dominating. You're just there to look at the whole scene unfold and hear the losers cry and hear the victors shout. And you have been doing it for a really long time and you're really experienced in it, and you will see when you have to intervene to slow them down or to speed them up. And I think it can be very rewarding becoming a demigod on the server. Also, if you don't like this and you want to build bases all day long, you can do it. I will give you spawners, I will give you a room with unlimited amounts of building pieces, and you build just one castle after another. The volcano, the frost temple, anywhere you want to build, you just go there and you build it, man or woman. And if you, once this castle is finished, you set up some spawners with some bosses, some Vangul warlords, and some Elvenor shenanigans, and you just leave it. And if it's I don't know how long it will take, maybe a week or maybe 3 weeks until they get in there and destroy the whole thing to find the boxes that you have been hiding in the foundations and in the ceiling and wherever you can figure out, use your imagination. And then if you come across it flying over the map looking for location for a new base, and you look at this and you say, oh yeah, I built this 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now there's this big giant hole in the side, and they also blew up all the gates. Yeah, I am gonna remove it. And you just call the admin, me, or you post a screenshot in the server rules, in the yeah, where? In general or something, I don't know. Or you contact me and you start a personal conversation. And I will just go in there, meteor it down, or use the poof button or whatever, and just clean up the whole thing in a matter of minutes. That's it. If you like what you heard, you can always come to Skull and Bones Discord, which I am so embarrassed for that I can't find. Hidden. Why? Copy. All right, there's one. But if you just type in Skull and Bones, you'll find it. That's it. See you in the next one.